How's it going, everybody? It's time for another Mr. Poestyle video. Surprisingly, video number 3 this weekend. That doesn't happen a lot, but I wanted to get this covered. This is 35, the 35th year anniversary. I'm stuttering here. Since I got my NES, my Nintendo Entertainment System, when I was in junior high. So I wanted to do a video just to celebrate that, because I absolutely love the NES still to this day. And at the time, it was just amazing. To me, it blew everything else away. I was an Atari kid in '82, but come '86, I got my NES that Christmas 35 years ago this Saturday, and I was blown away. And I tell the story of it. I'm going to show you the place that I first saw it. I'll do a little tour of my area. Now, I moved away from here back in the 90s when I was in the Air Force, so I was gone for a good 5 years, and my wife and I decided we were going to come back to the area. So I'm just across the highway, a few roads over, and across the river from where I grew up. Different town across the river, but still close to all those places that we went to when we were growing up. So we'll do our little tour here, and I'll show you. It's pretty sad now. I'll show you, and hopefully you can hear everything I'm saying in the video, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Well, before I go here, I want to know, do any of you guys use TubeBuddy if you're YouTubers? TubeBuddy, because I uploaded video of me playing Mousetrap on ColecoVision, and last night before I went to bed, it had on there that I had, like, only 2 hours after I posted it, 66 views. And I get up today and it says I have 17 views. So I don't know what happened. Did they make a mistake originally? Did they all just disappear? Have you had that happen to you? Just wondering. It's kind of strange that there were 60-some views that went down to 17 come morning. People unwatched it. I don't know how you do that. Okay, enjoy the little tour of what's left in the area of stores for my small town and my hometown across the river. Is it? Back in December of '86, this was my junior high that I went to. Allegheny Intermediate School, and it's now an elementary school for the same district that I went to. That is it. Very small. This was one of 2 junior highs in our district, and the smaller one was for us people that didn't live directly in town. And then there was one right in town that was pretty big. But this is Allegheny. Was Allegheny Intermediate School. Now it's North Primary Elementary School for Kiski area. Kiski area is where I went. It's called Kiski area because it's near the Kiski-Minitus River. Kiski-Minitus River was named after Native Americans that lived along that river. But that's the school that I went to. December of '86, the year that I got my NES, my Nintendo Entertainment System for Christmas. Something else here. This is our Pizza Hut. This Pizza Hut's been here probably since the 70s. I don't remember exactly. This was where you went to on a Friday night. Our movie theater was in this same plaza, right across the parking lot. And this Pizza Hut here had, at one point, Bucky O'Hare. Before that, they had Excite Bike and those kind of games. So that was how we got most of our arcade cabinets, were from local eateries, little mom and pop pubs, that type of stuff. We didn't have arcades anywhere close to here. I've said that before. And this really isn't part of the NES video, but this Big Lots store has been here since the 80s. Before that, it was a Fisher's Big Wheel department store. And that is the actual store when it was Fisher's Big Wheel that my parents bought our Atari 2600 and gave to us Christmas of 1982, and got a lot of our Atari games from that store. Later it became a Big Lots store, and when Big Lots first started, it was a discount store. Big Lots and Odd Lots in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and spread out. But when they very first opened, they sold a lot of defective stuff, goofy stuff, you know, stuff that was messed up by the manufacturer, just junk. And now it's more of closeouts they get from stores. They'll sell furniture and electronics and stuff that from stores that close down or whatever. But that's where our Atari 2600 came from. That's where I bought a lot of Mad magazines. I bought a lot of Spider-Man comics and stuff. And this whole plaza's about dead. This was our original plaza in this area. Then they put a newer one in the late 70s, early 80s that I'm going to go to after this, where they put our Kmart and a big grocery store. Just kind of put this grocery store and stuff out of business. The rent is pretty high here, they say. So you got Big Lots. Pizza Hut is actually going to be closing its doors here real soon. After all these years, since the 70s, like I said, they're going to move to the lower plaza, and they're going to become a carry-out and delivery-only Pizza Hut. No more dine-in. COVID kind of killed dine-in. So one more thing to see in this plaza is going to be where our movie theater was. And that was the Cinema 3. And I'll show you that now. Yeah, the Cinema 3 was right over there. As you can see, it's now an auto parts store. One sec. It was special at the time in the area because they had 3 screens, 3 movies going at once. Well, sometimes more than 3 movies in there, but 3 screens. They might have had 4 or 5 movies that ran at different times. It's hard to get close to it now unless I go right into its parking lot. But it's an auto zone now, and it closed in 2005. I believe the last movie I saw here was Revenge of the Sith. I watched in the 70s and 80s so many movies here. Star Wars: A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Teen Wolf, Ghostbusters a zillion times, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's that building with the red stripe. It wasn't that building. They demolished that building. Like I said, it closed 2005. The bigger cinemas with a zillion screens a couple towns over became popular. A little further to drive to go see a movie now. And then eventually they put up this auto zone. They are putting a Taco Bell in this plaza. It's coming here January or February, so that's new. Yippee. Like I said, everything else is dead here. This plaza even had, it used to have a pet store. We would go look at the pets and stuff. And it had a pharmacy where we would go buy comics as well. Right there is the Kmart Plaza. That was the new plaza, late 70s, early 80s, that kind of started to kill this plaza because people wanted to go to Kmart and not Fisher's Big Wheel. Fisher's Big Wheel closed. Big Lots went in up here. More people were shopping at Kmart. We had a nice new big pharmacy down at that plaza, a Radio Shack. Most of that's dead now too. The big grocery store that was there, they moved it to an even newer plaza in the mid-2000s. So now that plaza is dying off the way that this did. And in this area, we don't have any malls for about, I don't know, 17 miles or so. So our arcade game playing was like at that Pizza Hut there. And the Cinema 3, or the Cinema 123 as people called it, it was there. Always had, for as long as I remember, Spy Hunter and a couple other video games. We played Spy Hunter there like crazy. And you'll see that's our McDonald's is still there. It's been down there at that plaza since the place opened. It's actually bigger now. There used to be a Long John Silver's next to it. It closed years ago. McDonald's took over their property and put in 2 drive-thrus. And like all the other McDonald's, doesn't look all happy kid friendly like it did back in the day. The playland's gone. The fun chairs and stuff that had like the characters from McDonald's, you know, the little hamburger guys and the fry kids and stuff, that stuff's all gone. We'll drive down to that plaza now. And this is it, man. This is the Kmart that I very first spotted, the first ever NES that I had ever seen. And like I said, that was fall of '86, I think I first saw it. So I didn't see all the advertising for it. We didn't have cable. We had 4 or 5 channels or whatever if we were lucky over rabbit ears. Was kind of
not playing my 2600 as much at that point, so wasn't doing as much video gaming. And nobody I knew of even knew about the NES. So it wasn't huge in this part yet. But I walked into the store. My parents came here to shop for something. They brought me. I don't think my other siblings were with us that day. And it wasn't even a big Kmart then. It was just Kmart. Later it became Big Kmart, which meant they might sell a couple jugs of milk or garlic bread or something. But they used to have the Kmart cafe in the back of the store, if you remember those. All the silver-haired folk, the old people, would go there to eat. In the front of the store, there was a cool snack bar with slushies or ices or whatever they called them. You could buy the giant bag of popcorn. Sold lots of magazines here, too. I said Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine were my favorites, but that was it. It's been closed, I think, somewhere around this week. It's been 2 years to this week. It's just been sitting dead. There's a camper company nearby that leased a parking lot. They used to have a bigger part of this parking lot last year where they store some of their campers. That's our McDonald's. Like I said, it's bigger. Still McDonald's, still the same location, except towards the back end of it there was a Long John Silver's closed. They made McDonald's longer and put in 2 drive-thrus. And that's where I get my lovely McRibs when they're out each year. And over there, it's a bunch of stores now that are Family Dollar and whatever that is, Label Shopper. That's been a closed store, gone through 3 different names in the last 10 years. The Radio Shack and stuff was over there. There was a JCPenney catalog pickup over there. You could order through the catalog and pick it up there if it wasn't delivered to your home back in the day. We had a big JCPenney's in downtown where you could shop and order catalog stuff. My parents did a lot of our game shopping through Sears and JCPenney's as well as Kmart here. They bought, and I bought a lot of my stuff. I bought my Genesis here after I got my Super Nintendo one Christmas. That's later on down the road. I worked at the grocery store that was over here in the deli. Now it's a Family Dollar. Like I said, it's a gym. It's a closed place. But this Kmart here, I walked in with my parents. They went to do some shopping. I went towards the back, towards where the little restaurant was in the back of the store. And I cut through the electronics department. I think I was heading to the bathroom in the back of the store. And I see this case in the electronics department with a Nintendo sitting in it and a bunch of games. And I stopped and I looked and I said, "What's that?" And I remember specifically the Kung Fu, or also known as Kung Fu Master, Kung Fu box there, and it showed the actual graphics of the game on the front with Thomas kicking. If you remember that cover, you probably do. And I thought, what is this? Look at that great graphics, you know. And then of course you could see the systems with the Rob and the gun and stuff like that. So I begged and begged, and I just wanted the stripped down version. What is it? Was it the action set? I don't even know. It just came with Super Mario Brothers in it. And 2 controllers on the NES. And I begged and begged and begged for that. And my parents were like, "That's kind of expensive just for a gift for you." I don't know. Well, you know, I wanted it just for me. I begged for it. And eventually, I got it for that Christmas of 1986. And it was, I remember, I'm almost positive she bought it here. She might have got it through the Penny's catalog or Sears catalog. Like I said, she did a lot of shopping that way. But I think she got it here. And we were bad. My brothers taught me at an early age how to sneak and look for presents because we knew Mom didn't have time to wrap them right away. So I remember seeing it. There was a blanket up on top of a cupboard they had in their bedroom, and I looked under it, and there was the NES unwrapped still. This was in the month of December of that year. And every day I'd come home from junior high and get there before they got home or whatever, and I would take a sneak at that box. I'm a little sneaky bastard that way. So I knew I was getting it. That didn't make me any less excited. I just could not wait to get that thing. And this Kmart was really it back in the day. You know, there was the garden center there would be all made up for Christmas. Our school would do a live, or not live, they would do a telethon. They'd have the elementary school kids come and sing. They would talk to people what they wanted for Christmas. They'd give out hot chocolate here. And it would be televised. The local cable company wasn't far from here, about 2 miles from here maybe, and what they would do is they would film part of it, and it was constantly filming each night, a certain week before Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas, and they would take the tape to the cable company and do a tape change, you know, and then you could watch it on the local cable access channel. And eventually I did get cable when I was a sophomore in high school and was a part of that telethon with the school. And you would host, and people would give you donations, you would watch kids sing, you would ask people if they wanted to say Merry Christmas to anybody. And what do you want for Christmas was a big topic when things were slow, and everybody wanted Nintendo games at one point, and Super Nintendo later on. But really Nintendo, like I said, at least around here, I heard nobody talking about it for Christmas of '86. That's when I got it. Later on in '87, I remember people getting it, so I'd say Christmas '87, '89, when you ask the kid around here, what do you want for Christmas? I want this and that for my Nintendo. So pretty slick. Like I said, Radio Shack and stuff was over there. There was a big grocery store that took up that whole side where I ended up working after I graduated. I think that's about it. Just a little tour. Just what the heck, figured I'd do this today.
There you have it. That is where I got my NES. That was the area, my area. The Fisher's Big Wheel that I talked about, I had gotten a lot of, I didn't mention it there, a lot of Kenner Star Wars figures there too, back in the day. A lot of really cool stuff. That Kmart, I got a ton of Masters of the Universe and Kenner Star Wars action figures. Just a ton of action figures from there. Whether it was with money or Grandma bought stuff there for us, you know, everybody bought stuff from the Kmart. Everybody bought stuff from the Big Wheel. That Fisher's Big Wheel is where I bought the first WWF wrestling album from, on cassette. Remember that one? Way back in the day, I bought that from Fisher's Big Wheel. We also had, about 7 miles from here, a Hills department store. That was a Hills, I don't know, in the eastern part of the United States. I don't think it was everywhere. That Hills is where I got, my parents got me my original He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, Skeletor, and Tila, and my Castle Grayskull for my birthday way back in whatever it was, 82 I think, or 83. Hills was a great place too. I bought a lot of Atari and Nintendo games from them, Star Wars action figures, record albums, all kinds of stuff. And Hills has been gone also since the 90s. Been several stores in its place. I didn't go to visit that one. Didn't really have time. I did the other stores after I dropped my son off at his job at Wendy's here, so I didn't drive down to where the Hills used to be. But yeah, Christmas of 1986, I got that NES. What a great Christmas 35 years ago this Christmas. I can't believe it. I was going to do one on my Atari this year. I just ran out of time. So we'll save that for next year, hopefully, because next year will be 40 years since I got my Atari 2600. I do plan on doing one for my Super Nintendo, because I got that in 91. So we're talking 30 years. So 30 years for it, 35 years since I got the NES. Good timing to do that. Although, unfortunately, I don't still have my original Super Nintendo. I do have my original NES. It is in my basement. It's rather cluttered down there right now, so I didn't show it in the video, but it's there. I've only done one mod to the thing since I've had it. It's the original. It ran great. I did bend the pins back just because. I watched a video on that a while back. And about 4 years ago, I put one of the blinking light wind mods in there so that you no longer have to push the game down anymore. You push it in, because pushing it down is what bent those pins, and that's why you would get the blinking light. So the blinking light wind mod has worked great, and it also has the security chip bypass in it, so you can put whatever game in there and play it. You're not going to have a problem getting games to start unless the game's contacts are really, really filthy. But it is a tight fit. It's a little tighter getting your games in and out of there. That's the one mod I've done to it. I've had it ever since. I have all of my original games and all the other hundreds of games that I've collected since then. I would have liked to have done gameplay on the games as well that I got that Christmas. And the games that I got that Christmas came with the system, of course. Super Mario Brothers. I didn't have the gun. I bought that maybe a few months later with my paper route money. And not with Duck Hunt. I ended up buying Hogan's Alley. Loved that. I didn't have Duck Hunt until a while later. This is it. This is the game that I got Christmas of '86, junior high. Junior high school years are the tough years, but this certainly helped. You know, and here's the original instruction manual. I still have it. And we didn't have arcades near us. I think I might have explained that in my driving around video. We didn't have anything near us. Probably the closest mall to us was probably 17 miles away or so that had arcades. So we relied on the local eateries, the diners, the mom and pop stops, the pubs, the whoever, you know, the movie theaters, Pizza Hut, if they had a cabinet. We were lucky. That Big Lots that I showed you had Rampage in it. That's the first time me and my brother ever played Rampage, and it's still to this day one of my very favorite games. My parents would go in the shop, they would let us play Rampage at that Big Lots in the lobby area. And one time we went in and there was a guy fixing the machine or collecting the money, or whatever it was. He set it on free play just for us. We got to play till my parents were done shopping. A half hour, 45 minutes later, faux free, and we thought that was stupendous. So Super Mario Brothers came with my system, and this is the game I fell in love with, the game that I saw in the case, and I thought, just from seeing Thomas there, that the graphics were awesome, because that was the graphic. And this is it, and I do have the instruction manual. Unfortunately, I don't have it in here, so it's got to be in my game room somewhere. I am knocking stuff down. Kung Fu was such a great game, and I remember beating Mr. X and being so excited about it that I ran to tell my dad, and my dad really didn't give a crap whatsoever. But that Christmas was funny. I got my Nintendo. We knew nothing about it, like I explained in that video. Knew nobody that had one. We didn't know you pushed the game down. We're used to the Atari 2600. So we kept pushing the game straight in, and pushing the button and getting the purple screen, the blinking light. And we had no idea what was going on. Now, meanwhile, my brother that's 2 years older than me got a remote-controlled truck that Christmas. And for some reason, it wasn't working. I don't know what he did wrong. It wasn't working right. And my dad, I love my dad. He's still with us. Very fortunately, he's still with us. But he wasn't a very patient man back then during his working days. You know, he was a tired man and a cranky man. Couldn't get the Nintendo going. Something wrong with my brother's truck in the other room. We're both complaining like brats that we couldn't get our stuff to work right. And my dad's like, that's it. Everything's going back to the store. I am done. All of the presents are going back to the store. I don't care. Now, meanwhile, just by chance, my mom is looking at it, and she's no techno wizard. She pushed the game down. And I know I explained it in the instruction manual with an arrow or whatever, push down or whatever. We didn't think about it at all. I just wanted to play this game right now. Once we got it, the RF cable screwed into the back of the TV and we were ready to play. I'm just hitting the button, you know, and she's hitting the button, and he tried hitting the button. Well, finally she pushed it down, and I can't remember if it was Super Mario Brothers or Kung Fu, but it came on, and there it was, and it was like, holy crapola. And then somehow, pretty close to that same time, my brother got his truck working. Christmas was beautiful again. But Super Mario Brothers, my oldest brother knew about it. He had seen it somewhere, the arcade cabinet, and had played it ahead of time. But those were very special times, because at that point, I'm in junior high. My two older brothers are in high school. My sister is already graduated. I think she was already married and moved. She was definitely moved away. She was married, yeah. My oldest brother that knew about Super Mario Brothers in the arcade and couldn't wait to play it on my Nintendo. He was going to be graduating that year, and he was already signed up to go to the Navy. So that was a very special Christmas. It was the last Christmas that the three of us were still at home. And a few years later, my other brother left, and then it was just me, the youngest, at home. So those are very special times. Christmas of '86 is a very special year, and that was great for me because I begged for that system. It was going to be mine. The Atari belonged to the family. This was mine. So my older brothers were going to have to ask me before they played it with their friends or whatever. It was my Nintendo. What a great thing that was. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure I missed something here, but yeah. Kung Fu and Super Mario Bros. First two games that I got. Christmas of '86. And Kung Fu is, of course, just Kung Fu Master that came out for a zillion other systems and in the arcade. I have it here for the Atari 2600. I wanted to do gameplay on these here. Everybody knows Super Mario Brothers. Almost everybody knows Kung Fu. And at some point, I do plan on doing a Kung Fu Master for the 2600 and Kung Fu for the NES. I'll do that video with both of these in it. I just didn't have time right now this week exactly to do that, so we will get to it, I promise you. Since I have this sitting here and it is open, let's compare it to our sweet canteen here that I showed you the other day. Okay, which one's which? Well, this is slightly matted, huh? Did I give it away? You can see the cork. There it is. There is our Mario Bros. Super Mario Brothers. Like even the seal is wrong-o. But they got it really close. Really close. It's just a little more matted, a little more faded. And you can definitely see that this is a friggin' cork on our canteen. But you can't drink much alcohol out of this one. You get at least 4 ounces out of this one. This one here, you're not going to get that much. You dump it in there. That might clean your contacts so you don't have to blow it. Like a harmonica, freaking Billy Joel. Play me a song, you're the kind of man. Play me a song, 'cause I'm drunk. I slightly peed in my pants just now, and I kind of smell like some funk. Oh, la da la da da, la da la da da da. And that's it. Thank you for watching. That to me was a great Christmas memory. It's great to be able to drive around, but also sad at the same time to see these places. The buildings are still standing. The names have changed on some of them. But it's never going to be the same. You can't get your childhood back. But you can sure as heck try by playing these great old games. And hopefully we get another one out on the Super Nintendo, maybe with some gameplay for that one. I got only one game with my Super Nintendo the year it came out, which is my senior year, I believe. We'll do that video too, and maybe we'll do a little bit of gameplay on it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I really hope to see you on the next video. Plan on getting one out before Christmas. If I don't, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, happy everything. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. By the way, check out Ballistik Coffee Boy. He is a great YouTuber. I love his stories. I love his gameplay videos. He does a lot of stuff. He does Jaguar. That is friggin' sweet. But he has a bunch of other consoles too. He has videos where he tells stories, videos where it's just the video gameplay, all kinds of stuff. Shout out to you, Ballistik Coffee Boy. Love your videos, man. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Have a good week coming up. Be safe. Be careful. Be careful. Play it forward.
Nacho. Come here, Nacho. No biting. No bite. Ooh, no biting. Oh, Nacho, stop.